Sorry.
All right, so we've looked at one of the ways of enlarging shapes. This is another way of enlarging a shape. What you would do is you would have your original. Thank you. You'd have your original shape here. Mine is the black one. You would have your center enlargement in a specific place. And then what you would do is you would draw construction lines. So you would take your ruler, really important, you take your ruler, and you just draw a straight line from your center of enlargement, and it just touches a point on the image. So this line goes through this point here. This line goes through the top. This one goes through this point here. This one goes through here, here, and so on and so forth. Now, personally, I find this method a little bit crazy, and it does my eyes in. I don't really enjoy it, but it's the same kind of principle as it were as the other one, in that you would measure the distance of your image from your center of enlargement, and whatever your scale factor is, you would then double. In this case, we'll double it, and again, you measure from the center of enlargement. So if we measure this with a ruler, we would have a certain measurement. We would then double it to get to our image. Okay. If you prefer that method, please go ahead and use it. As I say, I find it a little bit more crazy because there's too many lines, but it's a second option. Okay, and then this is the method that we talked about the other day. You measure it, find one point, and then just double all the lengths. Now, in that, some questions will give you both original and image, and ask you where the center of enlargement was. Now, to find the center of enlargement, you would just need to join up your corresponding points. Now, you don't have to join up every point of your shape or your figure, just, I would say, minimum 3. So you would take your ruler and you would join up corresponding points here probably, perhaps here, and perhaps the top one. And you should find that your lines all go through one particular place, and that will be your center of enlargement. Does that make sense? Yeah? So you literally, but to find the center of enlargement, you have to use this method. You have to draw lines to get there. Yeah? So you've been given just both of these two shapes, and you just draw the lines, and they meet at one center of enlargement. Now, when you're joining them up, please, when you're doing it with your ruler, set your ruler so it is going through the point, because some people just chuck it on and go, oh, that's about right, and they're not very careful, or their ruler slightly moves when they're joining up the points, and they think, oh, it won't matter very much, it was only tiny, but actually it can make a big difference as to where your center of enlargement is. Okay, so just be careful of it.
Will it ever specify like you have to use this method, or just like find a...
No, for the method to do the enlargement, no, you can choose whichever one, but to find the center of enlargement, you'll need to join up these points. Okay, normally they do ask you to do the enlargement and not find the center, but you never know. Okay, now, so in summary here, in some cases, as I said, they will give you the original and the image, and they will ask you to describe what's happened. Okay, they will say, how have we got from one shape to another? So you have to remember what information that you have to give for each of these things. I think I said to you the other day, it's surprising the number of people, when they say which transformation, I've seen a number of students just miss out telling me whether it's a translation, reflection, enlargement, or rotation. Okay, that will give you one of the marks for the question. So telling me which one it is, done. Now, for a translation, you also have to give me the translation vector, so that you will see that a translation question, or if something has been translated, it will be worth 2 marks, because they are the 2 pieces of information that they need, those 2. If it's been reflected, you will see that your question will be worth 3 marks. The reason being is you have to give not 3 marks at all, 2 marks. The reason being is that you have to say that it's a reflection, and you have to give the equation of the line of symmetry. Now, often if you're not comfortable saying x equals y equals or what it gives the equation, you can just draw the line in. So you can say it's a reflection in the line shown. But you must tell them what the line of symmetry is. Enlargements are the 3 markers because you have to say it's enlargement. You have to give the second scale factor. If you're not sure about the scale factor, you're always doing it's the image divided by the original. Okay? And you have to give the center of enlargement as a coordinate. So that's where your 3 marks comes from. And rotation similarly will be worth 3. You have to tell them it's a rotation. You need to tell them the angle and the center of rotation. Now, if you're asked to describe a rotation, they are the trickiest ones. There is a fancy way of finding the center of rotation, but to be honest, the easiest way is to draw your original shape on your tracing paper and then just use your tracing paper, hold your pencil down on a point, twist your paper. Has it got to the original? Has it got to the image? No. Try a different point. Twist your tracing paper. Does it get to the image? No. Try a different point. So whilst it takes a little bit of time, that's the easiest way of doing it, to be honest. So this is the least nice one to do, but don't spend too long doing it because it'll only be worth 1 mark. Okay, so just as long as you've got the fact that it's a rotation and give the angle and direction, there's 2 of your 3 marks. If you're taking too long finding this, it's not worth it. Move on, do something else, and then come back to it. Okay? So I think that's about it for transformations. We good? Yeah. Trisbians?